How's it going, guys? It's Paul Myers, licensed professional counselor, owner and lead therapist of Intentional Counseling. If you haven't stopped by before, we are a group practice. We specialize in mental health and counseling, and we're in Frisco, Texas. And today I'm just going to cover an overview of good thought patterns or healthy thought patterns versus unhealthy thought patterns. We all have ways of thinking, so it's good to identify your tendencies and habits with your thought life. So it's a quick, easy way to have better mental health just with better thinking. So let's cover my chart. There's past, present, and future in this chart. With each, they have their own little column. So past, there's going to be positive thinking in the past and negative thinking in the past. So for present, again, positive and negative. Future, positive and negative. So I'm just going to cover a few examples of types of thinking and that fit each category, and then we'll go over it as an overview. So we have, let's start with the past. So past thinking negatively, some common examples would be, I call it shoulda, woulda, coulda thinking, right? So I should have, fill in the blank, or, I would have fill in the blank with, whatever. Or mostly regrets, I regret X, or I wish I could change X, right? Or maybe you're just ruminating on a mistake you made, right? So this rumination, ruminations where you go over the same thing over and over again in your mind in the past, right? So that's an example of negative thinking in the past. Positive thinking in the past would be, what did I learn? What did I learn from, X, okay? Or, how am I better, from X, from the past, thing in the past, okay? So that's like a healthy, positive way of looking at the past, extracting your golden nuggets of wisdom and of what you gained from it, okay? Present. So let's do present negative. So present negative would be maybe a discomfort that you have, or maybe a current problem that you're facing, right? Or some kind of obstacle, or a setback maybe, right? Could be something out of your control, right? A lot of things we think about that are negative we cannot control, so we're spinning our wheels on it, wasting our energy on it. So then we have present thinking that's positive. It's typically what you can control, right? Or your options available to you, or your current tasks at hand, or current resources available, right? Or current skills that you have, right? Or things that are going well in your life, like blessings or successes, right? Okay, so future. So future thinking. Let's go negative future, positive future. Negative future would be what if thinking. What if thinking is classic. What if X, Y, and Z, okay? It's always future focused, okay? Another one would be like hypothetical circumstances where you kind of create these worst case scenarios. Catastrophizing, right? Kind of go to the worst scenario. Another example of future is like potential problems, right? Or potential failure, right? Okay? All that kind of thinking, right? Okay, another example would be like a defeatist mindset, right? Where you predict the future negative and you assume negative and you kind of shut down your ideas before you even get started on it. So positive thinking for future would be your goals, setting goals, or maybe a strategy or your plan, right? Or your to-dos, your to-do list, your action items, right? Or your approach to something, or your solutions, right? So good examples. Okay. So that kind of covers all of it. So Now, I will say there are many types of thinking that can go in all these boxes. I just gave you a few off the top of my head, so that are common. So one thing I've noticed with future thinking is if you live in this negative future a lot, it's a recipe for potential anxiety. So people that struggle with anxiety, if you struggle with anxiety or fears a lot, it's probably you may be having a future-focused, future-oriented way of thinking negative. Okay, so you spend a lot of time in this box down here, okay? Same thing with the past. If I'm focused on negative in the past, it's a recipe for depression, potentially, okay? Where you stay stuck and you can live in that and ruminate and end up depressed. There are many ways to anxiety and depression. I'm just saying the people I see that struggle with depression a lot of time tend to be thinking negatively in the past or negatively in the future if you have anxiety. Not always, but a lot of the time those things go together. So with really unhealthy thinking regularly, habitually, frequently, you can actually induce and create more mental health problems and more struggles. So you really want to watch your thinking and be careful. It is a skill, so it's not a natural skill. You have to kind of practice it. But you can control your thoughts. You can't control what pops in, but you can control what you do with it and managing your thoughts and kind of steering your thoughts in certain ways, and practicing that skill is really helpful. So for me, I'm very visual, so the visual helps me control my thoughts better and dictate what kind of box I want to live in with my thinking, okay? So I will say a perfect, just kind of a general idea is, in a perfect world, you spend 80% of your time, this is Rainbows Unicorns world, 80% of your time present, which is really healthy mentally, in a positive box. And then maybe a little bit of time here, learning from the past and then getting out of that. And then a little bit of time here, planning for the future, but then getting out of that. So that would be probably an ideal thought life. Very, very difficult to accomplish because there's no shortage of negative in life, right? So it's easy to fixate on that, especially since negative emotion is a little bit more powerful, so a little bit more potent, so we tend to focus on it more if we're not careful. So if you struggle with any of these, try thinking about, like, let's say you're a future thinker, negative, try thinking future positive, and if this is the box you tend to be in, try going here first and then going here, right? That's easier. If you're a negative thinker in the past, try going here first and then going here. If you're already present, just focus on positive present. So, okay? All right, hopefully that helps you with your thought life and have better thought patterns and develop those cognitive skills of controlling your thinking. Journaling is another great way to do this if you want to journal in this way. There are many ways to journal. Cover that in a different video, but this will be a helpful tool if you have negative thought patterns or tendencies, or at least be aware of what your tendencies are. All right, if you haven't done counseling, highly, highly recommend it. It's just for people who want to be better and grow and improve. Definitely check out our website. It's intentional-counseling.com. We will be happy to help you if you want to do telehealth, or if you want to do in-person, if you live in Texas. Then we can help you directly, either myself or one of our trained therapists. We'd be more than happy to touch base with you. Please leave your comments below. That always helps us grow. If you have something you'd like for us to cover, let us know. We'd be happy to put that content out. All right, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Take care.